Frank Lawrence now to Democrat from Tennessee, to Congressman Steve Cohen. Congressman, good to have you.
Neil, nice to be back.
Are you worried about any of the signals out of tonight? It's still early. It's still limited. It's only a couple of states, but what do you make?
I'm not worried at all. I think that it's a good night for Democrats.
Where is it a good night for Democrats?
Some of the things Rand Paul is for in Kentucky makes Kentucky a seat that Democrats can win. When the people understand that he's against their kids getting an opportunity to get some federal breaks to go to college and make it less expensive for middle-class people to send their kids to college, people who might otherwise think about vote Republican will vote Democrat. When farmers see that Rand Paul is serious about taking farm subsidies away, farmers who otherwise might think about voting Republican and might have voted for Grayson and vote for McConnell will vote Democrat.
Yeah, but his opponent, Trey Grayson, mentioned both of the above. And apparently voters there said, you know what, we don't care.
Those are Republican voters who voted, but the Grayson voters aren't the people who would vote in the fall. They're going to look at the Democrat real close.
Congressman, this is a fairly conservative state. I mean, we're not talking,
I know it's a state where Barack
Obama
didn't even campaign there. It was so red. But now it's a state that's in play for the Democrats. Souter, with his kind of activities outside of the office, give another seat in Indiana the Democrats can win, and the Republicans have to spend money there to try to defend that seat. The Democrats are coming on. Whether it's Specter or Sestak, we win Pennsylvania. Joe Sestak is brilliant and an American hero.
All I wonder, with all due respect, are whether you're trying to put lipstick on a bit of a political pig here, because it doesn't look good. If there's anything that's coming consistently in a lot of these reads and a lot of these polls, and I would really go back to the races in New Jersey and in Virginia and in Massachusetts, is that Americans seem to be saying, will you guys just cool it on the spending and doing so much so soon? Yet every time we've had these incidents, sir, there's only more digging in deep on the part of the Democratic leadership. And that might not be a fair characterization, but I think it has been a consistent one. What changes, or will there be changes, on the part of Congress now in the months before November?
Neil, I think the Democrat Congress is going to look strongly at creating more legislation than we have in the past, and we've done it already, to create jobs.
More spending, so we're going to see more spending.
I think you need to have deficit spending, and you read Paul Krugman. Now, I believe Paul Krugman.
Yeah, but we did a lot of deficit spending, and Americans seem to be saying, no, we don't, actually.
Well, what we did with the ARRA, 40% of that was tax cuts, and that's something the American people forget, tax cuts. And $100 billion was taken out of there.
Well, Congressman, I'm not here to bicker over the exact extent of these programs. I am saying that Americans are very familiar with deficits that have gotten worse and debt that has cumulatively gotten a lot worse. So you might be right about some of the advantages of various initiatives you embarked on, but to most Americans, it seems like you ignore this phenomenon of people who are just saying, we had just put the shovel down.
Well, part of it, I know people are concerned, but what they need to look at is the reason we've had to do the spending is because of the lack of regulation during the Bush years. Because of that lack of regulation, the financial services almost went down in a total collapse in this world, and the world economy almost came to an end. It's ironic that President Bush, in what I think was an heroic-type position, proposed a TARP bill that passed. That's what got the Tea Party going, and yet they never exhibited their anger at President Bush. They put it at President Obama, who's tried and has successfully rescued us from this abyss.
It's a very fair criticism, Congressman, but be that as it may, do you regret the dismissive tone your leaders had about Tea Partiers, and the fact that they were deemed everything from questionable sexual comments to just nefarious losers and astroturf?
Well, there are a lot of Tea Party people who are concerned, obviously, about the deficits and spending. But much of what they're talking about is things that the American public wants and needs to send the middle class, to give them opportunities to get jobs. No, I know you're saying that, and you're a gentleman, and you always have been. But I think it's fair to say some of your leaders, Nancy Pelosi comes to mind, have not been so circumspect. Well, I don't think most of the folks in the Tea Party movement are likely to vote for Democrats anyway, and I think as they take over the Republican Party...
I tell you, I don't know about that. A lot of them, I could say this, bipartisanly hated everybody.
Well, I think that they're going to drive the Republican Party further to the right, and that's going to give the Democrats more opportunity to get Republicans to come to the center and switch over and support Democrats. I think. So
you think that's what's going to happen this November? There's this great sort of defining moment where Republicans go right, literally, off a cliff, and Democrats pick up the pieces.
I think it's going to be to the Democrats' advantage. The Tea Party takes over the Republican Party, and a lot of reasonable...
Have you done any drinking tonight, Congressman?
Not tonight. No, I haven't.
I'm kidding.
I know you are.
A weird scenario, but you never know. But Congressman, a real pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
Neil, good to be with you.
All right, so